This programme is brought to you by Heineken and Walkers, UEFA Champions League sponsor.
Hello and welcome to Madrid, where tomorrow night Liverpool and Tottenham go head-to-head for the greatest prize club football has to offer. For Liverpool, it's a ninth final. For Spurs, a first. Both look down and out on their road to Madrid, but they dared to dream and walk through their storms to a date with destiny.
All time is relative. The pulse of a hope to the beat of chance. Victory can be swift, as can defeat. Time never gives up, so why should we? Makes you face a destiny you feared. Time swoops in to tear your heart in two, then mend it again. But just like that, it can make you give up on yourself. Feel like your time is up. Time to make the unexpected move. Time never gives up. There is always time for glory.
It's felt a season like no other, and we're not over yet. Liverpool finished going through their paces around an hour ago. Can their players cap off a memorable season in style and go one better than last year in Kiev and lift a first trophy since 2012? And silverware is all that's been missing from Mauricio Pochettino's time at Tottenham, but he's performed miracles with this side time and again. What a season they've had in getting this far. They were 12 minutes from going out midway through the group stage. That was before the never-ending drama of the knockout phase. We're live with Spurs as they train for the next hour. Welcome to our second preview show. We'll be keeping an eye on Spurs training here at the Wanda Metropolitano. They've started on the mats doing what I'm reliably told is pre-activation by the athletes in the studio. Rio Ferdinand, Glenn Hoddle and Jermaine Genius. Looks pretty tough.
What, the pre-activation?
Yeah.
It's not tough. It's more annoying than tough. You just want to get out and play football, but yeah, you've got to go through this whole process before you get to enjoy kicking a ball.
Before you get out there. Glenn, what does it mean to Tottenham to be here in their first ever Champions League final?
Well, it's everything, Lindsay. It really is. You know, they've made history by getting here, but you know the players, and the fans as well. When the game starts tomorrow, they'll want to go one more step. They'll want to go and win it. So, but it does mean a lot to the club. It really does.
But you were actually lost for words for a change after that semi-final second leg, where you can really hear the raw emotion there. Now you've had a chance to reflect on it. Can you put it into words?
Of course, yeah. I think, for me, it's just the journey that the club's gone on. The way that they've grown the club organically. The chairman's done a fantastic job of that, investing in youth, investing in the top manager. And, for the journey to bring them to where they are now, and doing it, I think, in a smart way, in a classy way, in a way that we are developing young players. It's a great moment for the club and like I said, for the chairman and the players and everyone to enjoy.
And when you look at what they've been up against this season with the stadium delays, injuries, it defies logic that they're even here, doesn't it?
Yeah, and more importantly maybe the lack of spending in the last couple of transfer windows as well. When you compare that to the teams they've had to go up against in the Champions League and in the league, it's a huge achievement to be here, and that man in the picture there has done a remarkable job. And I think that it'll be great for football, a great advert for football, that it's not always about money that wins you the tournament. Who spends the most money sometimes? If Spurs are to win it, that's one of the reasons why I'd like to see Spurs maybe get over the line and become champions of Europe, just on that basis alone.
Yeah.
And it maybe revitalises a lot of other teams around the world, around Europe, that it's not just about money. If you can get the right building blocks in place, you've got a chance of being successful.
Already one of the stories of the season just to be here. And Madrid's already a sea of red and white. According to some reports, over 100,000 fans could be making the journey for tomorrow's game. But if you're not here, we have you covered tomorrow night on BT Sport in more ways than ever before. We're live from 6 on BT Sport 2, but that's just the start, because we're giving you the ultimate viewing experience live in 4K with Dolby Atmos, VR 360, and BT Sport customers with compatible devices can watch in HDR for the very first time. Just download the BT Sport app or visit btsport.com/HDR for more information. Well, Tottenham's training sessions well underway here. They've only beaten Liverpool once since Jurgen Klopp took over and finished 26 points behind them. But as they showed against Man City, domestic form doesn't always work in the Champions League. The unpredictable nature of the all-English European clashes are back, just like they were in the mid-2000s, as Seb Hutchinson reports.
20 years passed from Liverpool's defeat in the 1985 final, with minimal impact from English clubs in the European Cup, save Manchester United in '99.
And Solskjaer has won it!
But come 2005 in Istanbul, and Liverpool were back at the top table.
Hello, here we go!
3-0 down at half-time, but an incredible 6 minutes of second-half action brought them level. In the shootout, Jersey Dudek echoed 84, and the impossible had been achieved. The scene sparked the Premier League into life and set the ball rolling for final appearances, though not always the title. 10-man Arsenal beaten by Barcelona in '06. In '07, AC Milan avenged that night in Istanbul. But 2008 saw that first clean sweep of the showpiece. 4 teams reached the quarter-finals, 3 the semis, and the final in Moscow pitched Manchester against London. 1-1 after extra time. Ronaldo failed, Terry slipped, Van der Sar saved.
United again!
Just in time, for Pep Guardiola's Barcelona prevented a repeat in '09 by squeezing past Chelsea in the final seconds of a fractious semi-final. Then in Rome, Eto'o and Messi took the trophy from Man United. Just like in '83, a reprieve of English representation in 2010 as Jose's Inter beat Bayern in the Bernabeu. In 2011, Sir Alex's boys were back, but Barcelona brilliant again, beating the English side at the home of the English game. 2012, and the Barca blockade finally brought down in dramatic circumstances. Unfancied Chelsea on the back foot, then back from the dead. They repeated the heroics in the final, facing Bayern in the Bavarians' own backyard. Moura heading in at the back post, Drogba the near post. Czech saved Robben's penalty in extra time, then kept out Olic and Schweinsteiger after extra time. Step forward, Drogba.
Yeah, it's the greatest night in Chelsea's history. Champions of Europe at last.
But the triumph bookended that resurgence. The next 5 finals featured none of England's finest. Then Liverpool's loss last year completed 5 titles in 5 years for Spanish clubs. After the end of Spain's reign, will this all-English final be the start of another Anglo dynasty?
Well, Tottenham, of course, will be hoping to be back here next season as well. They've been a model of consistency with 4 top 4 finishes in the last season. Do you think this final and the new stadium can be a catalyst for more nights like tomorrow?
I think it's exactly that. I think not only is it a catalyst for more nights, but the attraction of the football club with the new stadium, the way that they play football, and actually now showing themselves to be a team that can get to the biggest stage. That attracts the best players in world football. It's up to the club whether they want to take that step or not. But there are already signs that the finances will be there for Maurizio this season to improve. So all of the kind of top young players across Europe, I'm sure, will be scouted and that he'll be trying to attract to the club. And for me, the feeling of the club now is one of that they want to be a part of this, moving forward. They want to be challenging for league titles, and nights like tomorrow night are going to only enhance that.
And keeping Pochettino obviously key to that. That's key, isn't it? That investment on the pitch, Glenn.
Yes, of course, and I think he's played it quite shrewdly actually in the last few weeks with what he's been saying.
He says it's embarrassing how much people are talking about his future, but he did say maybe if they win this, it might be time to do something different. So he's kind of invited that on.
It's maybe to get the money up, but no, I think he'll stay. He's built something here. He's building something. It's, you know, it is 5 years. They've been there building. Not many managers get that opportunity, and credit to Daniel Levy to give him that time. And it needs silverware. Tottenham needs silverware. So the timing of this new stadium opening and them getting to the Champions League final is like it's just quite amazing. And the club is ripe. It's ripe for top players to look now at Tottenham, especially if they win tomorrow, and say, I want to be a part of that.
Do you think they're here to stay at this level?
Yeah, if they keep the manager and if they keep a few of their top players. I think the manager's the most important one out of all of them to keep, I believe. I think he sets the tone, everything comes off of him. And I think he's been a fantastic addition to our Premier League, and what he's been able to build there so far on limited resources has been nothing short of phenomenal. So I hope he does get the money like JJ's saying that they're talking about. And then as the guys say, if they win today, this club can go to heights they've never seen before.
Yeah, well, we're going to go pitchside now because Des Kelly is down there for us this evening, and joining him, casting a close eye over Spurs training from a Liverpool point of view, Steve McManaman and Michael Owen.
Thanks, Lizzie. Yes, they've been working out next to us, a little bit of aerobics and stretches. They've gone to the far side of the pitch now. It's a beautiful, balmy evening. It's been 32 degrees all day, scorchio. Now we're going to be 20 minutes from kick-off tomorrow night at this time, and it's perfect, isn't it?
It is. This is perfect conditions. I mean, it's not too hot at all. Hopefully they wet the pitch as well, and if they do, I mean, the pitch is just unbelievable. It's absolutely perfect. So certainly the temperature has dropped, and it's now perfect conditions for a game of footy.
Macca's hot. He's got 2 buttons undone.
Yeah, showing off my hairy chest. No, it's an hour and a half. It's 9 o'clock kick-off tomorrow, is it?
All right, I'm on.
So yeah, so it's going to be even. It's going to be even more calm, isn't it? It's a beautiful evening. The weather is not going to play a factor at all. There'll be no. I don't think there'll be any sun on the pitch, as you can see now. We've still got an hour. It's just whether those players in shot have got the mental ability to take all this in, because this is extraordinary, this, isn't it? All the camera crews, all the people here. This is unlike any other game. Even semi-finals, this is unlike any other game. And it's whether they can respond to the surroundings. Liverpool have been here and to a certain extent done it, even though they lost the game last year. And it's up to the Tottenham fellas now. Some will rise, some will embrace it and play well. Some may fail, some may, have a poor game. And it's who those individuals are.
So you think that's a big edge?
I think it's a huge edge, yes.
Pochettino has had a mental mind coach in this week for the players.
Yeah.
And he says it wasn't specifically about focusing on this game, but obviously it's got to be about that, hasn't it?
Well, it has to be. But if you look around the dressing room, Des, when I won it in 2000, I looked around the dressing room and the majority of the people had won it in 98. So you sort of have this inward confidence knowing that these players have been there, done it before, and you've got faith in them, and you know that through times of adversity they will drive you forward. The fact that a lot of these players haven't done that and haven't been in this occasion, of course, it mightn't affect them, but I've seen it affect players in the past, and it's whether they can stand up to that, the mental ability, and just get on with it.
Because there is so much pomp and circumstance, multiple layers of media engagements.
Yeah, individually, there's a few players in there that have played in big games. Look at the goalkeeper, World Cup winner.
Of course.
But as a collective, they've not done this together. So as Macca says, when you look around the dressing room, you're thinking, who's going to stand up and be counted today? I almost think it is a free punch for Spurs. I mean, all the pressure has to be on Liverpool. Liverpool have got such a good team, and to finish this season empty-handed would be a disaster. Whereas Tottenham, they've qualified for the Champions League again for next season. They're in the Champions League final. I think it's a free punch. I think they've had a brilliant season. They've moved into their new stadium. I think all is good for Tottenham. I think it's a lot less pressure for them than it is for Liverpool.
That's the fear, isn't it? They'll look at it and say, we've had such a fantastic season. The fear for Liverpool of ending up with nothing.
Yes, and that's the big occasion. Someone's going to be heroic, aren't they, tomorrow, and someone's going to leave here empty-handed, and whoever it is going to be devastated.
All right, back to you, Lindsay.
Much, Des. Well, Madrid's had fans pouring into it all week in the build-up to tomorrow night. These Spurs fans thought their chances of making it out of the group stage looked all but over at one point. Since then, they've continued to defy the odds, none more so than that amazing night in Amsterdam.
They said the mountain was too big to climb.
That's a great goal!
That's what they said to me.
I think it's over. Is he going to get up? Can he get up?
Nobody expected me to get up. But I did. You knew you could do the impossible.
That's exactly what Tottenham needed. Oh, it's in. They've got another one.
And you broke Dutch heart.
Welcome back to Madrid. In just over 24 hours' time, the eyes of the football world will be on these Tottenham players as they take on Liverpool. And here at BT Sport, we're giving you more ways to watch and get closer to the action than ever before. We'll be live on BT Sport 2 and 4K from 6 p.m, but we're also offering the ultimate personalised experience on the BT Sport app with VR 360 and also showing the game in amazing HDR. For more information, visit btsport.com/HDR. According to some reports, up to 100,000 fans are expected to make the trip to Madrid, despite each club being allocated just over 16,000 tickets. The city centre has been packed with fans all day enjoying themselves, and Reshman Chowdhury is out in Madrid for us.
Lindsay, it is a glorious day in the Spanish capital. Temperatures rising to 31 degrees. I'm here at the Plaza de Colón in the centre of Madrid, where hundreds of Spurs fans will be congregating right here just before the game tomorrow night. In fact, this is one of 4 sites that forms part of the UEFA Champions Festival, the annual event held ahead of every Champions League final, where hundreds of thousands of people gather all across the host city. There really is no escaping the party atmosphere. Events are held all over the city centre, from a Legends match on the Champions pitch to fans having their own chance at being a hero. Well, the main stage is at the Puerta del Sol, the city's most central square, where DJs and musicians will entertain the fans all day, and plenty more activities all over town as well. There are literally Champions League exhibits everywhere, flags and banners all over town, and plenty of photo opportunities for those lucky enough to be here. For a show that will be watched by a global audience of millions in 200 countries, there really is a cast of thousands to bring it to your screens. 1,800 accredited broadcast staff for TV, 650 written press and photographers, 130 TV and radio commentary positions. Well, it promises to be an unforgettable weekend and an incredible match between 2 teams who have the chance to pick up the ultimate prize. Both Liverpool and Tottenham really defied the odds to reach this final, especially Spurs in those late, dramatic few minutes out in Amsterdam. And for their fans who've made the trip to Madrid, they're hoping to make it one more night to remember.
This wonderful stadium is looking great for the return of the Champions League. There's a feeling that something's got to give here in this very difficult group. Inter Milan has stolen it right at the death.
Messi can finish it at Wembley and does. It's very bad news for Hugo Lloris. Spurs' worst fears have been realised. Kane gets the shot and he's got the goal as well. And they can count on the captain yet again. What a big goal that could be.
It's win or goodbye to the Champions League for Spurs. Into the back of the net. There's the goal they want, and it's Christian Eriksen. Huge relief. It's Harry Kane here. And there's the goal they were looking for. Moura has delivered.
And Wembley Stadium really is the perfect setting for this Champions League last 16 tie.
In it goes towards Son, here's the chance, oh what a start that is, to the second half for Tottenham. The Tongan's gone into the box, there he is, oh he scored! In by Eriksen towards Llorente! Wembley is in Champions League dreamland! What a chance for Harry Kane, oh he's taken it! Super finish!
And it's mission accomplished in Dortmund for Tottenham. They're into the last 8 of the Champions League.
The new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is well and truly ready for the Champions League. It's a penalty to Manchester City for a handball by Danny Rose. He saved it!
I think he's done some serious damage here, Harry Kane.
So that's a huge blow. Son's made the run. Son couldn't take it initially. Still keeps it in though, Son, and then it's in! Oh, he scored! Well, they've christened the new place in style tonight. It's the perfect start for Manchester City. Son with a chance, it's in!
What a finish. What a finish this is from Son.
It's Bernardo Silva and they've got another one! Oh my word, what a game we have here. Aguero! Manchester City 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Kieran Trippier with a corner this time. All the way through, it's got in! It's Fernando Llorente. Raheem Sterling right in the death! It's been disallowed for an offside against Aguero. Well, Tottenham Hotspur have done it. It's one of their great nights. The underdogs have come to Manchester and got the job done.
It's one of the biggest nights in Tottenham's history. For the first time, Spurs are marching into a Champions League semi-final.
Ziyech threads it through to Van der Beek, who's got time and scores. Well, it's a big night for Ajax. It's a big night for the captain. Ziyech, oh, that's a great goal. Ridiculously difficult now for Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham really do need some sort of footballing miracle.
Lucas Moura running through. Here he is, and that's exactly what Tottenham needed. The chance, oh, another brilliant save. Still not clear. Moura. Oh, it's in. They've got another one. Lucas Moura. Oh, they've done it. It's glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspur. In the most amazing Champions League semi-final that most of us have ever seen.
That's all of it, we could believe it. Inter Milan, actually the only team before Tottenham in 2010 to get to the final, having failed to win any of their opening 3 games. But they had 3 points, Glenn. Tottenham had 1 after the first 3 games. How have they done it?
I don't know how they've done it. I'm looking at that, and there's so many times you think they're out, they've gone. But you know what? There was some good fortune, but you have to grab good fortune with both hands and take it. And that's what I've been impressed with this team. They've been very rarely in the leading games. They've shown such character, they really have. Quality when they need it. Even this is a so lucky goal. Yeah. But you have to take it, and it comes, and then you follow up with the next goal, and you keep believing. And that's what they've done. This team have just believed and believed. And things are changing at Tottenham since this new stadium's come, I'm telling you. There's a different energy about the team.
Yeah, listen, this team's had a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, and they've suffered, semi-final defeats, League Cup final defeats. This goal was huge, but I think what this campaign has shown me is that they've started to find a way to win games ugly as well. They've dug deep and just starting to get results rather than having to get that perfect performance all the time, and that's why they're in the final. It's just grinding it out sometimes, and they've now found the ability to do that. They
got those late goals, and then they drew Man City, and then you're thinking that's going to be the end of the road for them. And in the first leg, there was an Aguero penalty. If Lloris doesn't save that, it's a big moment, isn't it? It would have been a very different time.
Yeah, and all through the season in this competition, there's big moments that can change games, change ties, and this was one of them definitely, because he scores that and you just feel that Man City go on and really take the game by the horns. But what it's shown, I think, is that this team have spirit, and they're not going to panic if they go behind, and they're confident enough, and they have the experience of this season in these games that we've seen this season in this competition, that they can go behind, they can be playing very poorly, but then all of a sudden one of their big boys steps up, whether it's Son, whether it's Lucas, whether earlier in the season it was Harry. This season Dele hasn't done it as many times as he would have liked, I'm sure. But again, these are moments now for people to really stamp their authority in the game.
The impressive thing for me as well, Ria, they have done it without the talisman. Yeah. They've done it without Harry Kane. So they're learning how to play without him. That's why it's going to be a massive call tomorrow, whether he starts or he doesn't. But the little bit of good fortune that's coming their way, sometimes good fortune comes because you believe it's going to happen. It's not just thrown out there. You believe you're going to be lucky. You believe you're always going to be in a game. And you know what?
And they're out here.
Things like this happen.
Saved by VAR at the end. We had Pep running down the touchline, players on the floor.
It was crazy.
That was just the studio.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what it means to him. They're saved by VAR to get through, knocking Manchester City, one of the favourites, out there as well. Looks like he's having a ball, doesn't he, out there?
It's the manager's duty to relax these players, because listen, don't get it twisted. There will be tension, there will be nerves within that squad all of the cameras there. They're not used to seeing all these cameras watching them train, all the attention, the press, the media attention, the build-up to these games. They've got to manage that. It's a huge part of this. It's not just about the 90 minutes. You've got to manage your emotions, because that is energy sapping.
Yeah.
The nervous energy that comes with all of the attention is energy sapping, because it's not normal. The tickets that you've got organised for all your friends and family, the accommodation, is everyone here? Is everyone all right? You've got to push that to one side and try and make this as much as a normal affair as it can be.
That's why Liverpool, that experience, they went through that last year. And I saw them walk on the pitch. I remember it at Kiev, and it's like looking for where the tickets are, where everything. They weren't quite as focused. They'll be more focused on this one because they've experienced it. They've gone through it. They'll normalise it. That's what they've got to do.
That mental side, such a huge part of it, isn't it? Well, after Man City, Ajax came next for Spurs, and after a disappointing night at White Hart Lane, they had it all to do in the second leg. It was a night when heroes were needed from the start, but at half-time, Spurs needed a superhero in Amsterdam, and up steps that man there, Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura running through, here he is, and that's exactly what Tottenham needed. Moura! Oh, it's in, they've got another one! Lucas Moura, oh, they've done it! Lucas Moura with the last kick of the game!
It was an unbelievable day, unbelievable game. I will never forget this, never. It will always stay in my head. Like I said, it was the best day on my career, the best game, the most emotional game for me.
And I saw after the game you were being replayed the Brazilian commentary from home, and that was quite a moment, wasn't it, for you?
It was a special moment because when I watched the video and I heard the commentator, I remember everything that I had in my life when I was a child. I dreamed with this moment, so it was impossible don't cry.
Yeah, and it's that emotion coming to the surface, it shows what it means to you, and we see it from the manager as well.
That's the football. Football is incredible, is my life. Only football gives us this moment. The last second was unbelievable.
In the dressing room in Amsterdam, your teammates were saying that you were definitely going to score.
That was good. When they said this to me, I kept in my head. I said, okay, I hope and I will do my best. But I didn't know that was 3 goals and the third one in the last second. I always believe in my teammates, my talent, and of course in God. And I think everything is possible when you work hard, when you believe, and when you give your best.
1 goal in the final? More?
I hope, but in the final it doesn't matter. Even if Hugo Lloris score, I will be happy. The most important for me is to win, because it's not easy. It's not every season that we play a Champions League final, and I want to win. That's my dream.
Well, a real hero. Only the 10th player in history to get a 10 out of 10 from L'Équipe after that performance against Ajax, and he's not even guaranteed to start.
No, he's not, and that, for the manager, in a weird way, is a good thing, because it means that he has options. I think if you'd have looked at Spurs a couple of weeks ago, he was lacking those options. He was having to move things around, but you know, he just stepped up to the plate in such a big moment in this game. I actually thought in the first game he didn't bring anything to the table in the first leg, and I was one in commentary kind of saying, look, I need a little bit more from you, Lucas Moura. Well, I didn't expect this much more, because he was phenomenal in this second half in particular. And I actually think this is a weapon of Spurs, where once they kind of let themselves off the leash and kind of they have to commit and throw bodies forward, they do have that creative element and they do score goals. And I think they can score goals against anybody. So it doesn't matter really how much experience Liverpool have of this occasion. They won't enjoy going up against Kane, Son, Moura, Eriksen, Dele. There's a lot of goals in that attack.
You mentioned Son there, another player who's really stepped up this season, Glenn, when Kane's been out. 20 goals in all competitions. Has he just elevated his game again?
Well, he has, and it's took time. You know, he was like Moura for me when Moura's first Son come. It didn't feel as if he was in the team, the starting team, when the manager picked, you know, his best team, and he sort of huffed and puffed for a season and a half, and suddenly got the confidence, got a run in the team, bang, it's all gone for him. And I see Moura this is going to happen to him. My only question a little bit with what you're saying, JJ, is right. There's certain occasions I've seen him just disappear.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping tomorrow, for Moura's sake and Tottenham's sake, if he starts, I think he will start, is that the occasion doesn't get too big for him.
Let's talk about that big decision then that you mentioned earlier. Harry Kane, 53 days out, the 9th of April, in the first leg against Man City. If he's fit, should he start?
If he's 100% fit, yes, he should start, because his pedigree deserves that and demands that. But the big question, is he fit? These games, it's almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you feel, when you're a player out there. I might not ever get back here again. There could be an injury. Our team might not be the same again. So I have to play. And in doing that and thinking like that, sometimes you kind of gloss over the fact that you have got an injury and that there's probably still a little niggle and you're not probably ready to start. And
Can you hide it if you're not
Yeah,
fully
you can.
there?
You can. It's probably, like we spoke before, it's probably a little bit less... it's probably a bit more difficult to hide it with all the technology they've got, where they can analyse if you're running 100%, if you're doing your all in training. But there are ways in which you can do that, and I've been in teams where players have said they're fit and they're not. So it's a difficult one.
From a manager's point of view, it's a bit of a nightmare, because the one thing you can't do in training is really test it at match level, you know, if it's a hamstring or if it's an ankle, whatever it is. And plus, you've also got to think about Harry Winks as well. If he comes back in, you can't have too many players that have been out for some time. I personally would put him on the bench.
Same.
I think, you know, if he was fully fit, of course he plays. But now, Harry Kane coming on second half, whatever the score, it doesn't matter whether you're winning or you're losing. Playing with Son and Moura, if you need a goal, hold up play, and the key one, if it goes to extra time and penalties, you need Harry Kane.
What a player to bring on. Well, you know better than the rest of us, because you spent some time with him this afternoon.
Yeah.
Glenn went to speak to Harry Kane earlier, and this is what he had to say.
The ankle's good. The ankle's, like I say, it's been kind of a 7 or so weeks of our hard work, and we're at the stage now where kind of I'm back training with the team and everything, and of course it's great to just be back with the lads and back training again. Obviously we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy I'm with the squad. I'm kind of travelled, and then whatever happens, I'm ready to G on the team from the side, or obviously if I'm going to be playing, and to do my best.
And you can hear more from that interview in the main match build-up tomorrow on BT Sport 2 from 6 o'clock. Glenn, what did he seem like to you? Do you think he himself is confident he's going to start?
I think he's happy that he's got a chance to start. You know, I think that extra 3 weeks between, you know,
season ending.
Yeah, it has been crucial for him. But my gut feeling is I think he knows he's going to be on the bench, and I think he's quite happy with his ankle that it's going to be like that. I really do. That's the feeling I got. He was very relaxed. And
seemed in good form.
Yeah, he's in positive form.
OK, well, let's get some more from Steve McManaman and Michael Owen, who are watching Spurs train pitchside with Des Kelly.
Yes, thanks. We've been listening to Rio talking about nervous energy. I can tell you there's plenty of nervous energy when we saw this goal move behind the desk here. That's very nice from Spurs. Let's get to that big decision then. Harry Kane, Michael. Pick him. Does he play from the start?
For me, he does. Listened with intrigue to the lads in the studio there. I just think that if you're dealing with a muscle injury, then you know you've got to be very, very careful, because you can't quite get to match pace in training. And even if you say sprint, you can hold a little bit back. Whereas I just think with an ankle, it's more of a tougher structure. Yeah. I think that especially Harry Kane apparently has been training for a week or so already. So, in my opinion, I would start him. You only have to look at his record. And OK, Moura scored a hat-trick in the semi-finals, but they played 1 or 2 games since. He hasn't set the world alight. He certainly hasn't set the world alight for Tottenham since he's been there. Harry Kane, compared to Moura, has done 100 times more in his Tottenham career. If he is fit, he has to start, in my opinion.
Is that the message you would have as well, Steve? I mean,
Absolutely.
I talked to Harry Winks, and they said they've been playing full-blooded training sessions.
Well, that's what I mean. They probably had games. If he's been training for a week, like the reports are, or a bit longer, they've probably had, behind closed doors, games for him. You see him behind him, he doesn't look as if he's struggling at all. If he is fit and has been training for that long, he plays. There's no decision for me. There's no sentiment involved. Regardless of the semi-final and what happens, he's the best centre-forward they've got by a country mile. He plays if he's fit.
And if he appears on the team sheet tomorrow night, Is that a bad thing for Liverpool?
No.
Would that be a blow for them?
No, because I think everybody wants to see the best players play in this game, and we don't want any injuries or we don't want any excuses. We want to see the best players play and get the result.
All right, mind your backs, lads. Back to you, Lindsay.
Thanks very much to Des and Michael and Steve. Time for another break now. When we come back, we'll be hearing from Mauricio Pochettino. The Argentine is still looking for his first trophy as a manager, but that night in Amsterdam will go down in history alongside Tottenham's greatest ever moments. Now he needs one more effort from his players, the men he calls his superheroes.
I am so grateful to them, and I am so lucky. I have a group of players that for me are superheroes.
There's the goal they want, and it's Christian Eriksen who has done it.
Oh, he scored! Jan Vertonghen with a thumping volley.
What a chance for Harry Kane. Oh, he's taken it. Super finish.
They saved it. The Tottenham captain delivers when his team really needed it.
All the way through, it's got in! It's Fernando Llorente.
Son, and then he's in! Oh, he scored! Heung-min Son!
Moura.
Oh, it's in! It's a Champions League miracle gonna happen again! Oh, they've done it!
Absolutely amazing. Tottenham Hotspur are heading to the Champions League final.
Welcome back. In around 24 hours' time, these Tottenham players will be running out here in the Estadio Metropolitano for their warm-up, and we will be live here from 6 o'clock on BT Sport 2 and in 4K. And why not download the BT Sport app, where you can watch the final like never before in VR 360 and in HDR. It's the ultimate viewing experience on BT Sport. Fans of both sides have flooded into Madrid. We'll have an English winner for the first time since 2012. The question is, will it be Liverpool aiming for a sixth success in their 9th final, or Spurs at the first time of asking? Mauricio Pochettino's tears in Amsterdam showed just what it meant to get to the final. Now he's in Madrid, just 24 hours away from the biggest prize in club football. Des caught up with him and took him back to when it all began.
So there used to be a programme called This Is Your Life, where they would present you with a red book of all your happy and sad memories. Of course, we can't put it in a red book because you think we're biased in this week.
Yeah.
So tell us about this little lad here.
That is my favorite picture. It's not only my face, it's how I describe my environment, how I grow up, my values, my love, my passion. If someone will say, oh, who is Mauricio Pochettino? I can say that this guy, you know.
Look at the warrior here at Newell's Old Boys. I mean,
always.
That is an Argentine defender.
Yes. Look, no warrior, you're not brave enough, you cannot play football. Because I love the football in the past, because principal talent, brave.
And you must be brave, because you had some great hairstyles.
The problem is that it was difficult to play with this hair, because the head in my eyes, or in, you know, or the opponent always try to pull.
Scissors?
Yeah, but you know, in Argentina it was like the Argentine boys, the handsome Argentine boys were like this, you know, long hair.
What did you learn from moving to Europe, playing for Espanyol, then PSG Bordeaux as well?
Yes.
Particularly Espanyol.
Newell's Old Boys was my professional first club. But then Espanyol, I play more than 10 years there, and then more than 4 years like a manager. I can say it's my club, no?
This is your departure from Espanyol.
Yes, yes.
It's heartbreak everywhere.
Yes. You know, when you finish your career, and it's always difficult to manage and to handle, because a lot of emotion happen. If we go to the first picture, it's like you born with the ball in your hand. But in this moment, someone is coming and say, you are not going to use anymore this ball. It's a big impact.
Picture here of you and Pep joining at the same time, is that right?
Yes. He started 6 months before managing Barcelona, and we had a very good relationship.
Yeah.
Today the same, but that was the start from the beginning of his management in Barcelona, his career, and mine in Espanyol.
And then the big jump, you come to Southampton.
Look, my dream, to face a team managing under Sir Alex, that was a dream come true.
This is your English teacher, I hear.
Yes, it's true, with the Skyfall. That was my first and the only lesson in Barcelona with the Skyfall, with Adele.
This season is a story in itself, and we could spend hours talking about the drama.
Of course.
I'm worried what you're going to do if you win the final in Madrid.
Well, maybe I will not cry. You know, you never know, because it's very spontaneous, but that was so emotional. We'll see what happens. Only to be open to receive all that the life, the universe want to provide to us.
That's a nice way to finish. I feel like I've lived it all.
He's been waiting for this moment his whole life. He's been in his element out there at the Wanda. But Glenn, a slight moment of concern for him earlier. Harry just lost his footing, and Pochettino just checking on that ankle, but nothing in it.
Sidled over just to make sure he's
just
all right.
making sure it's fine there.
Trying to nutmeg him there. Yeah, listen, it's we're watching from up here, and they're doing a little bit of finishing, and we're trying to look at Harry Kane, see how intense he's doing it, but I think they're keeping it pretty low key, so you're not going to learn anything there. But no, Mauricio will you know, have a look at him in training, but as I say, I just think he will put him on the bench and let the other two lads start the game when the tempo of the game is at its highest, and Liverpool play at that high tempo.
I think we're all in agreement here. There's a difference between being fit to play, but being then match fit.
Being match ready,
I think he's going to be fit to play. We can tell he's trained and everything's going to be on the bench, I believe. But that's the reason, because he's not match fit. He's not going to have that sharpness. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't 53 days not training. It's a long time.
It is, and this is the combined team that you've all put together of how you think Spurs are going to line up tomorrow, and no Kane in. You're all in agreement with that?
Yeah, and I think these boys they deserve that opportunity as well, because like we spoke about before, when he's not been there, one or two of these other guys have stepped up to the plate and produced for him, especially in the Champions League this season. So they warrant their opportunity. I just hope that Dele Alli is playing in that position, because far too many times he's been played in the deeper roles, and I don't think it suits him as best. His best asset is running through on the end of chances.
I think Harry Winks has got a real big responsibility in there against this Liverpool side, with the way they field in positions. He's really got to have a good defensive. He'll keep the ball probably better than Dyer or Sissoko when he used to play in there, but he's got to defensively be aware and be in link with his two centre-backs, and that's a lot for a lad who's been out for some time now, carrying an injury, to come back in and actually be astute enough to play sensible for the team defensively in that holding position.
Well, let's see what two former Liverpool players think of that team that you've picked. Steve McManaman and Michael Owen down pitch side with Des Kelly. Back to you. What do you think?
Gentlemen, you've seen Glenn and JJ's team. What do you think?
I'd be very surprised, and I think if Liverpool come across that, they'll be even stronger favourites than they are today. I think Liverpool will be more than happy to face that team, I really do, because I think they could be stronger if they're fitting well.
Because Kane's not there.
Because Kane's not there, because Harry Winks isn't there. I think Liverpool would be fairly happy if they faced that. I mean, no disrespect to them. It's a bit, it's a huge game, but I don't think that's the strongest Spurs team that you could put out on that pitch tomorrow in an occasion like this, and putting Harry Kane on the bench in a game of this magnitude. It'll be a big decision.
Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I look at that team and I just, watching them train behind us, I just think that Liverpool are a stronger team. Now, it's a one-off game, of course. Anything can happen, and they are very, very capable. I mean, I think Son is a marvellous player, and he's surprised me this season. I think he's going to go on to be one of the best players in the Premier League next season. But I just think Liverpool, player for player, are a bit stronger.
And the weaknesses that you spot in this side, the things that Liverpool could exploit, what are they?
Well, the weaknesses, I don't necessarily think there's weaknesses per se when you go through each individual. I just think overall, technically, if you look at those two starting 11s that we put out earlier and that starting 11 of Tottenham just then, I think you would think that Liverpool are a stronger team. And just watching them being at close quarters, watching Liverpool from up on high before, being close to Tottenham here, I just think Liverpool are a better side. I know that's shown in the Premier League, and anything could happen tomorrow evening. Of course it can. It's how you handle everything, the occasion of everything. But I think Liverpool are in a better place now.
Well, it's relatively calm in here this evening,
it is,
but 24 hours from now, it's going to be very different indeed.
Thanks very much, Des. Yes, Steve saying it's how you handle this situation, and Pochettino as well is saying that the emotional side is going to be the biggest factor. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do, and I think it's the manager's job. It's his duty to manage his players' emotions, and I think it's such a big occasion. There's so many eyes in it. The players are going to be made more than well aware of what is going to be going on surrounding the game. Forget about the 90 minutes. So, like we spoke about earlier, you have to manage that, and I think he's done fantastically well up to now. He's got 24 hours now to continue that. And again, we were just talking about the teams that the Spurs, that they've got, the depth that they've got, the options that they've got, the systems they can change. That's an area where he's probably got a one up on Klopp in that sense. But I just think that they've got to be the front three of Liverpool. They've got to be taken care of, and I don't know if they've got enough in the Spurs team to be able to deal with them, especially in the wide areas.
That's what worries me. That Liverpool's front three, if they're on song, if they're on fire, that could be a massive problem to Tottenham tomorrow night. Really could be. And
Mauricio Pochettino doesn't really have the best record as well against Jurgen Klopp. 9 meetings. He's only won one game, a 4-1 win at Wembley in 2017. Do you think the previous meetings have any impact tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow, because it's that one-off game. It's that big moment. And, if you flip that on its head, you could talk about Jurgen Klopp's losses in finals as well. And he'll be feeling exactly the same. It's a one-off game. Both managers will have their teams, prepared and ready. I just feel that they know each other very well. That is the weird situation when you come up against, teams in a final, from the same domestic league. Rio's done both, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell us that it is a different kind of feeling because of how much you do know the opposition and all these little intricacies that they have about them and their league form and so on. But at the same time, with it being a one-off game, there's no doubt that records go out the window. So it doesn't matter how many times Jurgen Klopp's beat, Maurizio. I feel that goes for me.
I think at Anfield, if you cast your mind back to the Anfield game away, they lost 2-1. It was a mistake by the keeper, Lloris.
Yeah.
For me, Spurs had Liverpool on the rack, and they knew it. They had 2 great chances to go 2-1 up, 3-1 up themselves, and that's the last game that they played each other. So that's the momentum that Tottenham will go into.
And there's no doubt that they'll be getting them videos and showing them positive parts of them games.
Who's it going to be then? Very quickly tomorrow night.
I think Liverpool got too much for them. I think Liverpool by 2 goals.
Glenn?
Well,
sorry, Glenn.
Yeah, I know. Well, my heart is saying Tottenham, but they're going to have to play exceedingly well.
I've been saying all along, something weird's happening with Spurs, so I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you to Glenn and Rio. What a night we have to look forward to tomorrow. Join us on BT Sport for the final tomorrow, 6 p.m. on 2HD and in 4K from 6 o'clock. As this remarkable season culminates here in Madrid, Liverpool or Spurs will be walking in a wonderland.
Most divine, feather-like touch. Gabriel Jesus, take a bow.
That's the goal to take them through to the quarter-finals.
Manchester City, some with a chance, it's in! Have you ever seen a start like this in the Champions League? Raheem Sterling right at the death! It's been disallowed. A Champions League classic that's had absolutely everything. Threads it through to Van der Beek, who's got time and scores. It's do or die for Liverpool. Wijnaldum! Liverpool are all the way back! History made at Anfield! Liverpool triumphant! Ziyech, oh, that's a great goal! And there's the goal back. It gives them hope.
This programme was brought to you by Heineken and Walkers, UEFA Champions League sponsor.